Well, welcome everyone to Condo Council. It is 5 o'clock on July 20th. Can you believe it's already the 20th of July? It is just flying by.
Wow, it's unbelievable.
For those in the room, I'm having some issues with the TV, but we do have Julie Pino from Marisol on.
No, it's Carlisle.
Carlisle. Why was I going to say Marisol? I just don't. I want to guess everything today, but Carlisle. And
We have no issues to bring. We have no issues to bring to you.
Nope, that's right. Let's see here. So this was properly noticed. This is a recorded meeting. Just so you know, while the TV isn't working, the camera is. So this is all part of the recording for the meeting. And we also have Danica McNair, our Community Standards Manager with Town Hall, on the line. Let's see here. Can I just, as always, kind of get a roll call from around the room and what association you were with?
I'm with Carlisle North. My name is Sarah Turner.
Sarah.
Charles Custer, Carlisle. According to the documents, by the way, Carlisle North, which they say is actually documented Carlisle. The other one is called Carlisle South.
Oh, so you are Carlisle.
We are just Carlisle, according to the documents.
Actually, they do consider it Carlisle North, though, Jacob.
Well, on the actual documents, I looked it up. This is Carlisle.
I'd rather be just Carlisle.
That's what we are. The other one is Carlisle South.
Marty Collins from Siena. Michelle Chenault, Siena.
The Unplugged Artisan Club.
Nancy Stryker, Artisan Club.
Ray Biggs Artisan Club.
Tom Easterly Artisan Club.
Pete LaFave, Terraces at East Village.
Walt Kaplan, Marisol.
Donna Hager, Marisol.
Oh, you do Marisol.
Very nice.
I'm Eric Obergard, your Core Board Liaison.
Here. I think I've met most all of you. I'm Jacob Waddle, as General Manager with Grand Manners, Real Manage Elevated On-Site Celebration Town Hall. It's all one thing, but all the names. So do we, before we really start discussion, are there any homeowner comments? Okay. So with discussion items, the Condo Council meeting structure overview, same thing I share every meeting. You know, this is designed to be kind of a round table, a resource space for those leaders of the associations or officers of the of our different condo associations, a space for you all to get together, share any observations, concerns, and, you know, just work with each other. We at your town hall management are here to liaise this, provide the space, and answer any questions you have as far as it goes to the Celebration Resident Owners Association or its affiliated associations. If your questions pertain too deep into your association, we're going to say, please contact your management company for your association. And with that, that's all I have for that. Are there any questions as far as the meeting structure? No? Okay. The contact list, as always, I say, you know, it's kind of an ongoing list. I don't keep or I just keep a list on my computer, as I know board members rotate in and out. So again, if there's anyone that you'd like on the list, or you're not getting the email invites to this meeting, just let me know, and I can always update it with whoever you'd like on there, or if you want your whole board or your CAM of your association or that, I'm happy to add more or take names off, whatever works for you all. And with that, it brings us to the main bread and butter, which is the open discussion of issues, projects, and general questions.
I have a question for running this. We just got a notification of somebody raising the cost 19.6% for, they raised that notice in the mail about your
For CCDD, right?
CCD, okay. And my question is, why do we have 12 vehicles with that little celebration thing running around town? They have SUVs, they have full-size pickups, they have medium-size pickups, some with the camper tops on. That's a lot of money. And we also have the Kapokas and the John Deeres and everything else. The city of St. Cloud doesn't have 12 vehicles. Why do we have 12 vehicles?
Well, this past year, we phased out 5 NEVs due to ongoing and raising costs of the NEVs, and those were replaced with vehicles because cost savings, and we cannot access two of our villages with the NEVs based on the boulevard. So Spring Lake and Island Village cannot be accessible with the smaller vehicles, so they were changed out for larger vehicles.
But why 12? I mean, I just cannot justify for this small community 12 of them.
We actually need 20,
Huh?
because we actually need 20.
For what though? That's what I don't understand.
Island Village is
So,
pretty big, you know?
I know it's big, but,
this is well beyond condo council discussion, but we'll talk about it here.
Well,
So there's, you're splitting about 3 different entities together when you look at that. You look at CROA, which is the CROA Board Homeowners Association. The things like the Kubotas and the John Deere Gators and those sort of things, those are mainly run by the vendors that we either hire or we have. Those aren't association assets, or they're owned by the development district, the CDD. And then the CDD Infomark also has their own vehicles as well on top of that for their infrastructure maintenance. We've always kind of had this number of vehicles, but they've been NEVs, so they haven't really been as high profile before in the past. We've seen challenges with inspections that we have to do with community inspections, like the number of inspectors that have to go out. That essentially takes 1 or 2 vehicles off the road every single day, just for community inspections besides the community. And then on top of that with the maintenance vehicle needs. So it does seem like a lot of vehicles that we have there, but it's also because more things are being done in-house now rather than hiring a vendor to be able to do it. So that's kind of the reason for the vehicles. But at the board level, when we looked at switching from the NEVs to a pickup truck, we asked the same exact questions on why do we have so many vehicles, why do we need this, why are we going to a truck rather than keeping the NEV, and it made sense from the hours that they needed a vehicle and trying to move folks around. So, but I would also expect that we likely, with the growth out in Island Village that we see as well, we're likely going to need to add even more vehicles on top of that now. The problem that we're running into now is we actually have no place to put them. Because we don't like parking them on the street where they are now. That's a challenge that we're actually trying to figure out. How do you balance parking of those vehicles and storage as well?
Are these assigned to the people as part of their package of employment, that one of the benefits is they get a vehicle?
No, they're shared vehicles.
And they don't leave Celebration.
Yeah.
And they don't leave Celebration outside for service.
Sometimes I ride my bike, I see 3 or 4 of them parked in 1 block.
So you have the community standards team, which is all of the inspectors. So they have a batch of them. The maintenance team, remember we are cusping at 100 parks in Celebration. By the end of this year, we'll probably roll over 100 parks in Celebration. So we have a maintenance team that has to get to all of those parks. That's where a majority of the vehicles are utilized. And then you have your park monitors through our Parks and Rec team. Doing their monitoring of those and moving equipment around, and the events team as well.
Okay, you say park monitor, I go to the lakeside pool. I've never seen anybody checking anything there but 1 time in 6 months. And the number of people that are jumping the fence, walking in, letting 50, 60 people in that they know, it's packed, and they're not residents.
You can do a records request, as we have Mayberry Security Patrol, especially over the summer, dedicated to badge checks at pools and fitness centers in Celebration, when we get reports from them daily on all of their badge checks. We've actually been receiving a lot of commentary on the positive effects of the amount of badge checks that have been in place over this summer, which is a repeat program that was launched last summer.
Because Spring Park, they have been there. I don't know about Lakeside, but Spring Park, they have been
They
there.
come once in a while at 3 o'clock, same time, and they check a few badges and they leave. You go there on Saturdays and Sundays, it's just open to the public.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people put wedges in the restroom doors, and they're going in that way. Or the kids just wait there on a bench, and as soon as nobody's around, one kid jumps the fence and lets everybody else in, and nobody checks it.
I can listen to
Could I ask a question, please?
Yeah, Julie.
Could I ask a question, please? I hear what everyone's saying, and I somewhat agree with that, because we've had some complaints about residents going over and other people letting people in. I think the biggest problem, and I'll repeat this again, and I know you're aware of it as much as I am, it's a lot of people coming off of the basketball courts, because the basketball courts are definitely a free-for-all 24/7. They come early in the morning, they stay till late at night. It's a good thing we close them late, but I do see people there and then the cars pull up and they do try to go into the pools. I personally have not seen it. I know other people have, but I can vouch for the basketball courts being a real issue still to this day. My question is there some way that we could get someone at the pools that are there most of the day checking IDs when they come in? Like we used to have years ago? Is there any way that something like that could be done?
So years ago, the people checking were actually the lifeguards. We don't have lifeguards anymore.
Yes.
So, that, it's been brought up before about having a dedicated parking pool monitor per location, to be able to be there. It's a cost issue.
I saw a home.
It's very expensive, and they're hard to get now, nobody wants to be
But it's
lifeguards anymore.
basically lakeside because it's so visible to the public. Nobody's gonna find it these other.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think most of the problem's coming at Lakeside because of so many people coming in and out. I know they're doing much better from what I understand at Spring Park and also Spring Lake. I've been speaking to people there, different residents there. But I believe the problem's still coming at the main pool there. And again, I think it's the basketball court, bringing a lot of it in.
Yep, we can, so I'm happy to bring this back to the board and say, because I know that this is one of the things that we've been looking at. As Jacob mentioned, the security contractor that we hire to essentially supplement all of this stuff over the summer, because it's when we do see an increase in these type of incidents. Summer's coming to an end, so I'll let you figure that part out.
But Lakeside is not, that's not true. This is 12 months out of the year.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is that we might need to look at figuring out how do we extend this agreement or have it continue further, because we're even seeing incidents now, to your point, with the supplements involved.
As I'm a homeowner, can I actually, if I go in the pool and I see people fooling around, misbehaving, kids that is, can I say to them, can I see your ID? And if they don't have it, say you need to leave, I can't do that?
We don't recommend it, because it can cause.
We'll get screened at. All right, but then the other side to it, in the interest of the homeowners and the HOA and what have you, what about the liability if something happened to one of these kids that shouldn't be there without a parent? I mean, I know, I said, well, where's your parent? I can say that, I know. And if the parent's not there, they should be there.
Agreed, you're not wrong. It's the same liability risk whether we have it, because then the flip side of the question is, I mean, it's the whole reason why we got rid of lifeguards. Is because we were concerned that, well, now we have a lifeguard there, and if something were to happen, we need to have that person there. It's a sticky situation. So I do know that the majority of the facilities, there is a sign posted with the phone number. Jacob, keep me on. With the name of the security company, or excuse me, the phone number of the security company that go through the dispatch center as well. And so I do know that people have called when they have witnessed something.
Yeah.
And then if we have security on site, they can dispatch someone to.
Is it posted? Is that number posted for the security company, like in the pool area somewhere where people could just look at it?
Sign that you see on there.
Yes.
Security.
Let me tell you, that's not really true. You know where they posted the sign for Lakeside Park? It's at the very back of the pool. And it's buried behind a big table and 4 chairs. You cannot see the thing unless you were physically.
That's what I'm saying. You
there.
need to have it
They're
obvious so
buried.
people can pull in.
Yes.
Can I
We
just,
also
can I
get
just,
complaints about
can I
the
just
sign.
interject?
So we're trying.
Can I
to
interject for a
balance as
minute?
best we can.
You know, also, Derek, that's not the first time I've heard an issue with this basketball court. It makes me wonder, do we
Right.
need a
It's
basketball,
been,
at least right there?
yeah.
Yeah,
I just want to interject for
Somewhere,
a
but why
minute.
does it need to be
I-
right there? These are bringing problems.
I do the sheriffing or volunteer sheriffing, and it's often there's nobody there. So you can't say it's always full of people doing things. Lots of times it's just sitting there, or the one
Yeah,
person.
and with the
Well,
Crow badge
well-
policy, so if there are 20 kids on the court and 5 of them have badges with them, and they say, these are my friends, they're with me, they meet the guest to resident ratio, which is 4 guests per resident with ID.
Well, I beg to differ to you.
Well, I
because
have to
live there and I
disagree with
see
that
the
because-
court from my condo.
Yeah.
Every night,
Yeah.
there are
You're
kids there.
saying
Let's
that.
as well.
I said in the daytime, that's when I go back.
In the daytime, no, but evenings is our problem.
Yeah, those stay until the lights go off.
Actually-
When the lights go off, then they leave, but they're there all the time.
And on the other side to it, also, there seems to be some underhand exchanges going on. I don't know if it's drugs, but it doesn't seem very legit, just saying. So we need to also monitor
No,
that.
it's not only that,
I'm
but
I'm
they
happy
are
to bring
coming
this
in.
up
I've
and
seen them.
forward with it. And I can know that one of the things too is, as far as the master planning group, they're looking at moving some of the courts in different parts of the community as well. So, taking a look at Lakeside specifically on seeing if something is, and we can bring up, not only the concerns about the security, but then also the liability concerns as well.
Mhm.
So I'm happy to take that back to the board.
Can I ask one other question, please? Events, when we have events, it seems that we have to give up our bathroom to, for the pool bathrooms for people to use during events. And I don't know if the event planner regarding the car show failed to recognize that they hadn't done porta potties. We were very disappointed that everyone was using our bathrooms and using the toilet tissue. I mean, it's an expense that we didn't need, but if the event is being sponsored, surely the sponsor should be paying for the porta potties. I'm putting it there also.
Second.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's gonna be almost 1,000 parks then. So you said 100, okay, 1,000's a lot. And so in the condos, artisan park condominiums, we have 2 parks, one on each end with lakes. And whose responsibility are those parks?
I want to say, we were just talking about those today.
Are you talking
Is
about
those are-
the cul-de-sac one or the one that's in between the buildings?
Well, they're both in between, not the.
No, they're in the
not
street,
circle.
right circle
The
and
right
between
circle.
box
Those
and,
are either the development districts or the condo associations.
they're not ours.
So
No,
the
they're not
development
the condo.
districts. When in doubt, always go to Osceola County Property Appraiser. As most.
We think they're CCDDs.
They,
Because there was a bunch of trash and I sent in a notice on my celebration.
yes,
I'm the one. And then they promptly sent it to Artisan Club condominiums. We don't have those.
Well, funny enough,
We had those parks.
so the Olmsted Vox Boulevard parks, the 2 island parks there, as well as the Right Circle Park, are the Celebration CDD. So typically, if they're no, it's a rare rule, but sometimes if it's a median of a road, then those are under the development district instead of considered a celebration Crow Park.
Oh, so it's not Crow, it's
No.
CCDD.
Those ones look
Interesting.
like Crow Parks, but those ones are the development district.
around the lake, most of them are for Croa. But CCDD has, one or it's the other way around, forgive me, but, there's a gazebo with a barbecue. And there's always this trash can that's always, full of trash. But and then there's one just about 10 feet away, which is serviced by the gentleman that picks up all the other trash bins around the lake. And I said, what about that one? He says, I can't touch that one. And if I do, I get told off. So FYI, and I think he said it was CCDDs, not Croas. So who's the lake? Is it Croa or CCDD? And then who is the one by the gazebo?
Most of the ponds are the development district. I think the one you're talking about is the tail end of Lakeside Park. The best thing to do is, like Mr. Striker said, is submit a ticket through the My Celebration app. As that app is shared by Croa, we use that in Kanoa as well as CDB.
Okay.
So whether, if you don't know if it's theirs or ours, or it's something, you can send it in and it'll get assigned. It should be assigned appropriately.
Okay, thank you.
In those minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I didn't realize those are.
Yeah, the app is, I mean, the biggest things we get submitted through the My Celebration app are irrigation sprinklers and litter. I mean, those are the main issues that are submitted. And they're great because they're trackable. They're geotagged as well. So if you're standing in front of that trash can when you submit it, it's going to pin the issue to where that is.
Okay.
But if you forget and you do it at home later, you can also move the pin, or you can say, don't put a pin on it at all. And that way, but
wow. Thank
typically,
you.
you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Jacob, could I say something, please?
Someone wants to say something.
Well, last question on these vehicles, are they buying them or leasing them?
They're buying them.
So a lot of that was discussed in the open finance meetings, for many meetings, the finance and then the board as well. Julie, I hear you.
Yeah,
Let me see.
I know it's a little busy. No, the only thing I was going to say about that, whoever was talking about the pool situation and the basketball courts and all, no, it's not true. It's not empty all the time. We know because we live there. I see many people coming in, kids coming in 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning on school time when our kids are in school. So they must be from out of town. That being said, this seems to be a constant complaint for years from so many people. My concern is if there's an issue that CROA or CCDD or whoever would be responsible if something happened here. So I just feel since it's been brought up so many times, it's a shame for you and for Crow and for everyone else that we have to keep going through the same stories every single time. I think something should be said at the meetings about how we can either secure it better or ask for volunteers at the pool or the basketball court. Maybe there'd be residents who are willing to give an hour here and there. Because I think in the long run, it comes down to a situation where we may have a problem that's going to cost the community something. Not just money and destruction, but if something should happen. I have to agree with Sarah that there have been things going on. We don't know if it's drugs. We don't know what it is. And I don't think anybody should be approaching anyone. It should be done by the community. So I think the biggest thing is we keep going over the same problems over and over. And for your sake and everyone else's, maybe it has to really become a real topic of discussion. The topic was before, if those courts were taken and put back where the soccer fields are or the baseball fields, this would be a non-issue. And again, you would have 50 parking spots for Celebration residents who want to use the town when you have these affairs. No one can park. We all know this is the biggest problem we have. So now we're looking at a twofold situation. The concern about a lawsuit if something should happen with people who don't belong in the community. And the other side of it being that if that was moved into the sports complex somewhere, you would have parking, which everyone is constantly complaining about. So it's just a thought. I just don't think it's so crazy. We have to keep going over the same thing over and over for Grand Manners, for you, for us, for everyone. It should be, really looked into better that we can do something about it because it is an open field at that pool and those basketball courts. It is. So just my opinion to be helpful.
No, thanks.
I was about to say, I know that Eric has made note to bring that up as his liaison updates to this committee, to the board. Please remember a lot of these items that are mentioned, we held special events meetings where if there's concerns about events, you can show up to those and raise your concerns to the special events committee that approves and sets most of our events. Same with Parks and Rec committee for our any issues with parks, or you can bring them to the Crow board, which meets twice a month on the second and fourth Wednesday, and have homeowner comments, as these are issues that are, relevant to those. Eric and I can do our part providing this information that's maybe not relevant for condo council, and we can share this with those appropriate groups and the management team or boards for those. But that only goes as far as passing that word along as it's not something that can be acted upon
Right.
in this meeting today.
Yeah, sorry.
And I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. To
I
keep
have a
bringing it
question.
up here
Is
doesn't
there a
help,
way
for
that
sure.
we can get a printable copy of all the rules and design guidelines? I know that you can go in and click on each thing, but like today I said, well, okay, I'll print the rules. No, the rules open as a little book and you can see a page at a time. That's way too small for me to read. And my computer doesn't have a print button for that. So like we're trying to fix our rules to match yours. But can't figure out what yours are, and all the design guidelines, we want our things to match those. But it takes forever because there's like 50 different little things you have to click on and print out this, and print out that. Just a consolidated thing. When I moved to Celebration, my realtor gave me one. That's before you changed them, back in 20 years ago, or 10. So that would be nice.
Yeah. If there's any,
Yeah.
I mean, there's, dozens and dozens of design guidelines.
Right.
If it's all of those that you're wanting and all the
Yes,
rules and
because
regs.
we
or
have to know
anything.
how our things fit in. Now, we're not going to build a swimming pool. So if you have one for that, we don't need that.
The new one has some of that, but I think the information you're asking might be a little more. Send an email to the general town hall at crmail.com asking what document, or be specific what documents you'd like printed copies of. And then our office will happily print those for you and then provide them for pickup at the residence office.
Okay, and are there design guidelines for condos? We don't understand the relationships. We know there's design guidelines.
Interior.
Exterior.
Are they only for houses?
They're for the community.
Okay,
They're not specifically called out for condos. And that's why typically if there's changes to condos, it goes to a discussion topic for the architecture review committee. As it's not typically black and white. It's something that they bring to their open meetings as a discussion item in review of the application.
oh, I misspoke. I meant, is there a pattern book?
No.
No, so we don't have to worry about a pattern book.
No, there is a general celebration pattern book with 2 additional amendments for some of the expansion.
But they're not for condos.
No.
Okay. And then we're still having trouble, which we brought up last time. We have some rules that we have no from, not Danica, who's the other one down at the that approves.
Angelica?
Yeah, Angelica. So she gave us.
So Angelica is
approval.
Town Hall's architecture review coordinator.
And she gave us approval, and yet every time people go to close and they have one of those things that's on her approval, it gets flagged, and then we have to have our CAM go and say, no, here's our approval. Do we need to put in 302 copies of that, and you can put one in each record? I mean, there's got to be some way to do this that lets people close when they sell their condo without intervention.
Is it during the estoppel process that it happened?
You make an inspection, that's probably correct. Yeah.
So Danika's message, she's on the call and messaging me. So we do have to have that as a document attached to each file with this.
Well, how do we get it to you to get it into 302, whatever your documents are?
It needs to be submitted with the resale case.
Won't work smooth, it doesn't work smoothly now, but I'm telling you that you want an inefficient process, you've got it. So that's okay.
So Danika's going to reach out to you.
Well, that's what you said last time, but it didn't happen.
Along with your camp.
Okay. It didn't happen since the last meeting. And then one other question that's not, it's sort of related. We have people that would like park benches by the sidewalks looking over the water. Is that CCDD? Is that CROA? Is it?
That is CCDD, and they do have a process
I
to
hope so.
sponsor a bench, to add a bench.
Yeah.
In a specific area along the trail.
Because the people would be happy to pay, well, they say they'll be happy. They might not, but they find out how much it is.
No, I remember looking at it a few year or so ago. It's relatively low, honestly. The cost,
Probably not high.
sponsorship cost is less than what we buy a bench for celebration parks. So.
And that includes a little concrete thing?
And that includes the concrete thing.
Okay, so.
So it's really one of those, it's a gesture price. It's probably one of those meet halfway, you fund half of it, we'll take care of the rest, but. From last I remember looking at that, it was far less than what the actual installation of a new bench cost, CDD.
Because we had picnic benches in Siena, and they took them away. Never replaced anything.
yours?
So the same thing. No, they were from
They were
Crow. They
from
were on
Crow.
Crow's because it was right next to the lake, and that's Crow's property. The division is very. Nobody really knows where the
Yeah, no, the lines
property
in-
between Siena and Crow, but this was definitely Crow's, and they took
Well,
them
not
away because they were getting old. And but they never replaced them, so we would have to go to CCDD to try and get a bench there.
Was it on the other side of Water Street,
Sites with all.
by the pond of Water Street, by the golf course? Or
No. And Siena, right across from
the other pond?
the rehab and,
Yes, yeah.
you know,
So yes, that trail that runs along the boulevard, or if it was
Right.
along the barrier between the Sienna parking spots and that pond, that pond is is CDDs.
Right.
So it's the.
No, I know
skirting of
that.
it. So yeah, the benches would be CDD.
So we would just have to go to them then to get it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, where our property ends, it's very, very close to our little private, road.
Mhm.
This was further towards the lake. And so I know they're the ones that put it in because they took it out. But then they never replaced anything. We're like, we didn't even want tables. We just wanted a bench, So that's good to know.
Thank you, Jacob.
You're welcome.
That's all my questions.
You guys are doing a lot over there, it sounds like.
I'm trying to.
Mhm. You finished with your construction?
Oh, yeah, last, December roughly.
Elsa.
I do have a question. So, as you're aware, there are trails all through our community, and there's some of the more recent ones were apparently down on the Artisan Club condo side. And there are some trails that have never made it to the map. Every time we get a new map, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be on there. They're gonna be on there for sure. No. Can we get the maps updated correctly?
We're currently in the works of being updated. And I was just looking at it today. Yes, I can look at, is it?
Which
So
trails?
there's the little connector that goes from the club over to the lake that's on the north side of the condos. And then if you go to the circle at the end of Celebration Avenue,
Right.
there's a connector that goes out there. And what happens is you give these tourists the maps that don't have all the connectors, and all of a sudden you find people who are wandering around the summer hot and tired and ready to collapse, and they're nowhere near downtown, and they've been going in circles. I'm like, if you just go over here to Celebration Avenue, just walk all the way till you get to downtown, or do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, really.
What do we do for you?
Get lost in get directions.
I would say you asked that at the
And they're
perfect time.
not, they're also don't have, well, maybe it's because I complained like 6 months ago to somebody in town hall. But also they don't have the ones that go along, I can't remember what that community is, that community that goes along Celebration Boulevard that has a great chain of lakes that kind of connect, and then there's a little connector that goes over to Spring Lake Loop. Some of those are not on there either.
And the Spring Lake one that connects to Sienna.
So, so that people are just riding their
Oh,
little
yeah.
bikes around.
And
it
they
looks
do.
so
We've had
cute.
people knock on our door because they were like, we have no water. We're really thirsty. We always have plenty of water. So we're giving out water to people. But they really do need to upgrade the map so people know where they are.
Yeah.
And they had the map with them. They were looking at it.
I told some poor lady on a bicycle, the only way to get there was to go down the water side, go up and go back. And she said, what?
And they go, what?
That's not true, but that's all I knew about.
Well, and then I guess my other question is, Celebration proper has these great trails. What about Island Village? Are they getting great trails too?
So there are some trails, they're mainly walking paths around ponds that do connect, the main trail along Celebration Boulevard.
So there'll
But
be nothing to the jump.
there's no boardwalks in the development plan in Island Village at this time.
So you don't have to maintain it, right? Boardwalks are hard to
Hoping we
maintain.
could connect Island Village with downtown. How great would that be if there was a?
Talk to the Crow Board there.
So that is then cutting across land that's owned by CFTOT, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, which would be conversations between them and the celebration company, Disney.
That would go well.
It might, but it might not. Yeah. Good question.
Appreciate that.
How's everyone's elevators? I know that was the topic of the last one.
Oh, much better now that we found out that they were overheating because somebody put a door to the, I guess, the panel that wasn't supposed to have a door. It was just overheating all the time.
So we put big grates in our doors. That with that and maybe some little fans in there, and it hasn't failed, so that's good news.
They're not overheating. Oh, and I just want to say that, we love the guys that maintain the boardwalks. They're awesome.
It's DDD. You can keep looking at me, but that's, I'll take the credit, but I'll pass it along to the.
They do a great job. Guys out there with this testing those boards every day.
Another great use for the My Celebration app is submitting trip hazards. So if you see any bad trip hazard based on the trees growing and popping up sidewalks or sidewalk pieces or boardwalk pieces, those are really great as there's our maintenance team and CDD has active crews that are out there weekly, nearly daily addressing trip hazards in Celebration.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I'll just don't let anybody do Sienna. We're in the process of fixing our sidewalks.
Yes.
Well, that's what
We
we
are, we
did.
are trying to.
Because we
get-
drove,
Well, a ticket will be, you can close it soon, then you're like, we're working.
Yes.
we broke ours, so we just fixed them.
Our
Jacob, could I
sidewalks
ask
and
one more
our pool
question?
pavers, pulled out pavers.
But they're all on the list.
I know that.
Jacob, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Billy.
Well, I just want to ask a question. I know all the repaving is being done throughout Celebration. I'm wondering from how we could get the help through CROA and CCDD to do Front Street, which means going from where Lexington ends, right at Sycamore, all the way through and down towards where the dentist and Marisol is. Do they have any intention of resurfacing that? Or if they're not, we don't know. Is there any way we can get help with that?
So most of what you're referencing along town center of Front Street, that goes along the promenade by Lake Reinhard, is that road is under the jurisdiction of Canoa, the Celebration Non-Residential Owners Association. They did just do an engineering review of that last year, and deemed that the most appropriate course of action would be to just reline at the time. So that's why I think earlier this year, all of the streets were relined in from Market Street and Front Street to Bloom Street by the hotel, to Starbucks and to Sycamore, and then to the post office.
Okay, so
So
I'm
they're not
talking about
looking at
Sycamore.
doing any repaving at the time, but they did do lines to those roads.
Okay, well, I don't think it's been done. I'm talking Sycamore and Front, all the way down as you come down Front Street in front of the lake, heading towards Marisol. And as you make that turn, so that would go into Celebration Avenue.
So for
So
that,
Sycamore and
you
Front to
can
Celebration
submit
Avenue.
a ticket, or we just submit tickets to my goodness, the county. The county.
Well, that's
If you
what
go
I
to
was
their
wondering, who
county
can help us
website,
with
the
that?
road bridges section, they have a way to submit tickets. They actually use the same infrastructure that we use, and it's GoGov is the platform that runs the My Celebration app. They use the GoGov platform for their tickets as well. So anytime that people reach out to us about, hey, there's lines on the road or a pothole in the road or anything, and well, one, we educate saying those roads are county roads, so you need to reach out to the county. But then also just to help move things along, typically, if those come into town hall, we go ahead and submit a ticket to the county. And sometimes
Yeah,
they're
I was
really,
wondering if
really
you
good at
guys could
answering.
help us.
We had one that was in Spring Lake, a big issue with, there's a lot of fire hydrants and some of them don't have yellow curbs. So we
Right.
submitted that to the county. That's really kind of one of those gray areas on, is the county going to do anything at the fire hydrants of the ECD? And they came out within a week and they painted a lot of the curbs in Spring Lake, even in sections that weren't painted in the past. So
Well,
submitting tickets to the county does do a lot. Another case was in front of town hall. There was a puddle for years, right at the front door of town hall on the road. It was a big puddle all the time. And when we closed this building for construction, we just submitted a ticket to the county, just as anyone would submit a ticket saying, hey, we always have this puddle. We're renovating the building. Is there anything you can do? And while it does take a little bit of time, they did come out and peeled up the curb and relayed it. As you see, they're doing a lot of that right now, is removing curbs and relaying them. Because of, again, the oak tree roots raising the curb up, making the water not flow properly. So the only way to fix that is they rip the curb out and relay them. So that's another one
you
that,
can help
well,
us
it seems
with
like
that.
ticket might do nothing. I can speak personally. I've seen the tickets with the county do a lot. They're pretty responsive to them. I've also had it where
Well,
they
if you
just close
can
the
help us
ticket and
with
say,
that,
no.
that would be nice, because I've
That's
tried,
the whole
to reach
Sycamore.
Osceola County with no avail. So it seems I'm talking Sycamore and front from Columbia, front all the way
Mhm.
down, going right into Celebration Avenue. They have not marked off anything or have done anything in that area. So I was wondering if there's a way that Canoa or Crow can help us get to the county about that.
Yeah, I can submit a ticket. I know that a ticket has been submitted upon your request coming in.
Yeah.
I do know that they are looking at celebration in phases. So at the end of last year, we saw a lot of resurfacing happening in East Village. Right now, what we've just communicated out through Monday Matters is a lot of road repaving happening in North Village. So with that said, maybe they have received it and they've just added that to the list of maybe they're getting to Celebration Main Village soon.
Okay,
And
that
addressing
would be
it as,
great, because I know we still have a big pothole on Sycamore. That seems to be a problem. My concern is when it fills up, you know, how people hit that hole right there on Sycamore. I think, Charles, you brought that up before. So it's really Sycamore and then Front Street going down to where it meets Celebration Avenue.
We got it. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Donna, nothing from you down there?
We're taking care of our own bubble.
All right.
You're so quiet tonight.
I know.
I got my windows, I'm taking care of.
You need a drink?
Yeah,
You finished your roofing, right?
done,
Sheesh.
all done.
Very work.
Pretty picture, but it's, thank God it's behind us.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Yeah, one question in our community, we, with the terraces at East Village, we're out kind of past the pool, on the donut pool.
Yeah.
And, so the streets there are, that's Osceola County, as we understand it. I mean, we have a owner in one of our units and, one of their kids lives there. And they have a big, like work van that was in an accident, so they came and AAA flatbed dropped the van there and it's been sitting there for 6 months. And, but I mean, technically, they're a family of a resident and, but of course, if you're the unfortunate person whose unit looks on this smashed up van, and, is there anything from a Crow perspective? I mean, it's a county street, so anything from a Crow perspective or any path we should be?
So I
Going
can
down.
tell you from personal experience, for those submitting a request through the My Osceola app with a picture of the vehicle, gets county code enforcement out there pretty quickly for what they consider a derelict vehicle. I will tell you that my personal NEV has been reported multiple times as a derelict vehicle to the point where the county knows that it's not. That it just doesn't look new, but it runs perfectly fine, it's insured and plated. But if there is a vehicle that's damaged or has been sitting there, even if it is licensed and has a valid tag, if it looks like it's inoperable, they will contact the owner and essentially say, hey, if the vehicle's on a public street, it has to be operable. And then they will usually help facilitate either encouraging the owner to do something with it, or they will tow it, they'll impound it.
Well, my experience, we had a car on Mulberry near the church, and the tag was updated by somebody every year, and so we couldn't do anything about it. And it got to a point where the leaves were underneath it, it was filthy and what have you, and it was there for 4 years.
Yeah.
And eventually, someone towed it, took it away. But I mean, there's nothing we could do. I even asked the police and they said, no, can't touch it because it's registered.
Yeah, if the vehicle looks okay, then they usually can't do anything, but if it's looks damaged in any sort of way or
Yeah, the
inoperable,
front end is smashed in.
then that's a little
That might be
different.
different.
Yeah.
Than code enforcement.
So that's the same Osceola County website.
Yeah, so if you look, they call it the Citizen Action Center. They have an app, it's called My Osceola, but you can also just do it online. If you go to their website. And it's it says register a code complaint. And there's one on there for vehicles. I will tell you that all of those reports go to the same exact email inbox in the county though, from my experience.
All right.
So.
Yeah, we'll get that.
Do you happen to know if there any kind of, it has to be moved every 72 hours or?
No, there's not, because we run into that before with the problem that you were describing. The vehicle is plated, and if it's plated and looks operable and there's a tree growing underneath it. They come out and they say, well, it's plated.
I think squirrels were nesting in it.
Yeah.
But you're seeing different
Eating all
parts.
the wires.
Code
Yeah.
enforcement's different. The sheriff doesn't touch them if they're plated properly.
Right.
Yeah, sending them to code enforcement is probably the best action. And then you can also, like Eric said, sometimes it looks operable, but if it hasn't moved, sometimes that sending the ticket again in 3 weeks, it kind of creates that document of, okay, now you're providing them the evidence that it really isn't moving, or it's a coincidentally parked in the exact same spot. It's still up to their discretion upon review of how they want to treat that case. But sometimes submitting that ticket again and again does help. We've had that issue with a vehicle with a hitch, a trailer sitting out, and just submitting those. And they take time. They do take time, but we do see action.
Yeah, we'll give that avenue a shot.
Just thought of something. We can have the yard sales this year, or are they discontinued, and was that just a rumor?
So that is a topic of discussion inside the events committee in Parks and Rec. The yard sale, from my understanding as it currently sits, it will still take place twice a year as the fall and spring. The only thing being looked at as potentially discontinuing is the sign program, where you can come into town hall, pay $10, get on a map and get signs placed out throughout the community. So the overall seller, so that's continuing. And then a location of where, if somebody wants to, I know before I used to have kind of a public, you could buy a table. And we did that here beside town hall before, and then moved to Lakeside. That program is looking like it may be adopted by the Catholic Church, from my understanding as well. So all in all of the options may still be available outside of that map that you can buy into saying my house on this street. I think they are looking at this was, I think, just discussed last week as a discussion item in special events, which is why it's still not, I don't think there's a firm direction, but I could be wrong. I want to say that their plan of action is for those individuals that maybe live on in a very tucked away area, they're looking at possibly still doing a program where you would come into town hall and buy one of the road signs that says, hey, yard sale participant this way. So you can place it, but it won't be facilitated through town hall for placing and removing all of those directional signage throughout the.
Because I know at one time they had talked about getting rid of the fall one, just having the spring one.
I know right now they plan on
They're
still
planning on
keeping both. But as far as the amount of expenditures coming from town hall for putting on is what they're really trying to be cost conscious on. As well as they do receive a fair amount of grant money from Experience Kissimmee they have in the past. That money has to be used for advertisement. So it's typically when you see billboards or anything throughout on 192 or I-4 about the community yard sale, that money is, if the grant is received through it has to be used for advertisement, and so it's being utilized for that as part of their strategy of we only receive, Celebration CROA only receives a certain amount of grants from Visit Kissimmee a year. they're saying, well, maybe it's better if we ask for grants for some of these for other events rather than porch and yard sale. So that's another thing that they're kind of looking at pulling out, so they can utilize those grant requests for other items.
And is it still October 3rd this year?
To my knowledge, the date that has been posted has not changed.
So we have people coming up, at least in our neighborhood, from like Miami and stuff with vans of stuff they sell, you know, in front of the clubhouse and other places. Because there's nothing, because we're open to the public. It's just something we have to live with.
If they're selling from a vehicle on the street, that can be reported to the sheriff as they.
But during the porch and yard sale, everybody's selling all over, right?
But I know, I mean, most of the tables set up in Artisan Park property, the park across from the club, are residents of the condo association or.
Okay, I'll take those, yes.
Yeah, many,
but not all.
Yeah, that would be under the review of the club management for.
Okay.
So that's up to each club, each condo association.
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as that park is part of Artisan Park Service Area or Artisan Park Club.
Right.
So what happens on that park and who they allow to be on that park would be under their management to.
All right, because we have the park in front of Sienna, and the same thing could happen where you would have just pulling up on Celebration Avenue and politely parking themselves there, but they're not allowed on Celebration Avenue.
Yeah. Oh, because it's.
To park their
Can't
truck.
slow down. Yeah,
correct.
Nobody can park.
Yeah.
If it's inside the land that is owned by Sienna, then Sienna would have control as far as lane, if they're on the land, not, well,
our roads are private
Your
too,
roads
so
are
we
private,
can
so actually,
get away
yes.
with that. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking.
You could even have sign no outside participants allowed or something.
So that brings up another question, and it may not be the right forum for it. At our last board meeting, there was concerns that, evidently Celebration does a phenomenal Halloween. And I'm looking forward to it. I love Halloween. Last year, evidently, people got in there and couldn't get out, and there were people using the sides of buildings inappropriately. They had to flag down a police officer off of Celebration Boulevard to come in and direct traffic to get cars out of there.
That was 2 years ago.
Wow,
It was a mess.
Yeah, can Sienna actually block off the entrances and have security only allowing residents in?
Yes.
You're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah,
because my husband was the one that had to
That's
get the cop, because these people were there for an hour. And they have little kids and come back from, we're all like, this has gotta be taken care of
no,
like
I
now.
advise that, as of course, county officials are stretched very thin on Halloween. CDD does implement and pull in additional sheriffs for Celebration. And last year was a big push on that, mainly for traffic flow and traffic patterns, which we did see a tremendous help in alleviating.
It was
that
much better
last year
this
instead
past
of
year.
the gridlock that we've seen in years past. We sit typically and work with CDD on where we see the biggest issues and where should the sheriffs be placed. But that being said, calls that come in, they're competing those.
So then we are allowed to barricade the entrances and only allow residents. Okay, perfect.
I think Jeter Bend has kind of helped slow down some of the traffic going back into ours.
But I will say that the year before you had the problem, took 3 hours to get my husband had surgery at the hospital that day, 3 hours to go from the hospital to the condos. And I had an officer try to block the road in front of me. And I'm like, no, I live here. I'm the one who actually belongs in town. And if there's an emergency and somebody's dying, how are they going to get down there?
Or not.
You know, that was the whole, and that's what
What
my
are we gonna
husband,
do?
when he
We're
went to the
gonna put 'em on
police
a
officer, he says, you've got
bicycle
little
and
kids in these
right down
cars
the road."
over an hour.
Yeah.
How long do you expect them to last? You know, we're gonna send them out on Celebration Boulevard because we don't want them in Siena peeing all over the place.
And I-
But, you know, and then he did come down, he did get everybody out, but they were literally bottlenecked in by our parking lots. They thought they could get to Celebration Boulevard through our parking lots, and of course you can't, you can only walk. So it was a problem. I mean, it was a big problem, but last year we did block off the parking lots themselves, and that helped a lot.
Has
Nobody
anyone
was-
thought about blocking off all the entrance roads into Celebration and then using Celebration Boulevard, the parking areas there, and just bus people in? I suppose it's being done,
Do they
right?
have to come in?
I don't know. I'm just
So-
think allowed.
They can't block.
They can't do it.
The roads are public, so
Okay, public,
the
okay.
outside of the condo.
Right,
area is
right,
obviously,
right.
But the roads are public, so years, this is going 14 years ago. I remember when we did this, we did close all the roads.
Yes.
The county was that you can't close the county road unless you still provide access of some kind to the general public. And the access to the general public was busing.
Okay.
The cost of busing and then the logistics of it, and then we still provide, it didn't work.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
And then you also have a hospital in Celebration, people
Correct.
have to get to the hospital.
So that was pre-Spring Lake and pre-Island Village.
Mhm.
So it was challenging even at that point in time.
I'm
So
sorry, I
now
said
with
it in
Island
jest.
Village, I don't know how you would
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I
block
did
that
say it
off.
in
That's
jest,
not
but-
gonna happen.
One more topic I forgot to bring
Oh.
up. Well, it's not on here, it's just the discussion item. Is open houses. We do know that, well, it's an ongoing issue with open houses and signage inside Celebration. And I know that can get more challenging for those in condo communities, is trying to make sure that people are aware of those open houses. The rules allow for one open house sign in front of the property.
How
The
many
day,
take up?
one sign, the
One
day
sign?
of the open
What
house.
about a flag? Is that a sign? Sorry, this has been a very contentious topic.
Now, when we
I
see,
understand.
so also the easements or the verges between the sidewalk and the roads themselves are technically property of the CDD, and they do not want any sign in their easements ever. So we do have our park monitors on that work over the weekend. Their main role is parks and setting up and taking care of any private rentals inside Celebration. And trying to work to help our community standards team and CDD. They are often asked to pull any signs that are not compliant. We had one this weekend where there was I'll say it was in a condo, and there was 10 open house signs between on connecting blocks around that for them. So those were pulled we had a park inspector go pull all those signs. Any signs that are pulled are brought to town hall. They're available for pickup. Yep.
And then you can scrub them.
Huh?
For feeding.
If they're still available, we sit them out back by our bay, and so if they remain available, then they can come and collect them. But there's just kind of always sharing where that is. And then that does, when we take our park monitors to help pull that from compliance, it does pull them away from their primary duties of monitoring parks.
So if you're in a condo and you're saying from the sidewalk to the road, you can't put anything. The condo owns from the building to the sidewalk.
Yes.
So it's possible you can't put a sign anywhere.
You can
If we
put a
don't-
sign there.
Are we required to allow signs there? And then if you're on the other side, like where I live, there's a pond out there. So they can't drive down the pond.
No, so that would be covered in your rules and regulations that you could not allow them at all.
But we gotta figure
On
out
that
how,
property.
we don't want to discriminate. So if your property is not visible from the road, you're saying they can't go there, so you technically wouldn't have a sign.
Mhm.
So they'll just be outlaws, like you deal with.
Mhm.
What is Crow's view on political signs?
They're in the rules, aren't they?
Yeah.
Law.
So there are rules on political signs. They can be out.
90 days, I think about 90 days.
90?
It
is. Was that? It's just, we had to look it up.
I'm always looking this one up. Yeah, I think it's 30 days prior.
That's probably right.
I think it's 30 days prior to election, with the caveat that like mail-in elections that typically start early, we have found out that does technically is the start date of election, not the polling date. So it's 30 days prior, and I
2 days in.
think it's 2 days after.
I think it is.
Mhm.
Didn't I put it?
Yes, and it is 2 signs per property.
Because I'm already saying that.
And there's a dimension.
There is a dimension, yeah.
It's the normal size.
Yeah, standard yard sign is all that's allowed.
It'll be fun.
Yes, there
Well,
are.
I just came from Key West and they didn't have rules about political signs except in the Condo community. Everywhere else, there were signs everywhere. There's no regulations. That's why I'm asking.
So if you see that, and when we have seen that with condos as well, or maybe there's, a big flag or something hanging over a balcony. And if you need help with the enforcement of that, you can reach out and we can work with community standards on issuing a notice of compliance for that as well for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Did you say there was a sign? There's a size, isn't there, to the sign? I thought.
Yeah, a standard yard sign, whatever, that 18 by 24 or something, it's in the rules, but yeah.
It is what they are.
Yes. And we watch that closely. Typically, every time there's an election, we look at those dates and then we get random, you can always submit anonymous complaints or concerns as well. Remember, with the community standards inspections, I know the current intent is to review every property on a quarterly basis. But we do not try, we are very cautious about not targeting. So with that being said, if a house was reviewed, but now something happens maybe a month later, it's on a rotation, so it should be reviewed on the next quarter. The only way that we typically look at that outside of our standard rotation is if there's anonymous complaints submitted, in which we must address. So in that sense, there may be an additional inspection for that property or for that address. But we aren't going out and targeting. And if we think that it is a resident targeting their neighbor, then that does flag something as well.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
to know.
So that brings up all those celebration, high school graduation, birthday. Do we just sort of let them go if they're short? I mean, I see them all over town.
Go ahead, Jacob.
No, go ahead. Jerry?
I'll step in if you want.
I don't think they're really allowed.
So I used to be liaison to ARC. And so we had an interesting case that came up, where someone applied for it as part of ARC. So which was kind of a curious way of getting around it. At the time, the Covenants Committee and the ARC Committee at the time considered those falling to the same as a seasonal decoration.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
So if it's like a graduation sign,
It's a holiday.
it's a holiday, but it also means that you can't leave it up for a year. You need to, pick your date. If it's been 6 months, well, the celebration's
So
over.
your birthday could be a holiday. Or
Correct.
your
Or
Okay,
it could be a
that's what I
holiday
did.
or something like that.
So I
So
wondered how-
consider it falling under the same as a seasonal decoration.
Okay,
Cool.
that was smart.
And the seasonal decoration guidelines
Yes.
do mention that
days
they're
and
at the
10 days.
discretion of review of the
Yeah.
covenant committee.
Right. There's a caveat.
Mhm.
And they can't be lighted and they can't make noise. The two things.
Take all the fun out of it.
Yeah, I know. So.
It is 6:04. I want to respect everyone's time as this meeting was scheduled till 6 p.m. Is there any last comments from the room?
Pie Festival.
Yeah.
Oh, shut.
Yes.
I felt they're returning.
Oh, it's coming.
It'll be back next year. That's a joint venture between the Celebration Foundation and Canoa, and their DBA Visit Celebration. With that, our next meeting will be on Monday, October 19th. Most likely same room, same time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it as always. This only works with you. So thank you.
I appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
We
Jacob.
appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jacob. We appreciate it.
One in here.
Okay, it's gonna be
Probably long.
Yeah. I think our